Hello, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Matthew Laird, and I am your 2021 Mountain District Friends of Scouting Chairman. Welcome to the 2021 Fundraiser Luncheon for the Mountain District Boy Scouts of America. The Mountain District serves scouting in Walker, Winston, Marion, Fayette, and Lamar counties and is part of the Black Warrior Council. Scouting is a unique program that gives young men and women in our communities the tools to grow and become better citizens, better neighbors, and better friends. Your participation here today will ensure that the Scouting program continues so that many more young people will be given the opportunity to join Scouting. Before we start, let me recognize our sponsors. We couldn't have done this event without them. Thank you to our sponsors, Drummond Company, Inc., John Drummond, Abby Drummond, Patrick Drummond, Steve Hudson and Associates, Steve and Judy Hager, Sam Murphy, Dr. and Mrs. Charles W. Nolan Jr., Pinnacle Bank, River Peak Partners of Raymond James, Anthony and Robin Allen, Bank of Walker County, Alabama Power, Carl Cannon, Honda of Jasper, Hyundai of Jasper, Nelson Brothers LLC, CenturyLink, and Blanton Media Group. Duty to God and country has and will remain part of Scouting's core values. I would like to start the program by asking the Jasper High School JROTC Exploring Post 925 to present the colors and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Wilkes Hill from Troop 117 to lead us in the invocation.
Forward, march, lift, 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 right, lift, right, lift, right, group, halt, step, lift, face, present, colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, colors. Right, face. Forward, march. Lift, 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 right, lift, right.
Let us bow our heads to pray. Dear God, I hope everyone is having a good day today. Thank you for my community and the support they show the Boy Scouts of America. We are thankful for your guidance and safety today. I hope that you keep everyone safe during these very difficult times. While we strive to serve and support our community, please do not let us forget to also serve and support you. We ask for your blessing over this meeting and that you let others see your light through us. And most importantly, as it says in the Boy Scout law, lead us to always look up to you and help us be reverent. It's in your heavenly name I pray. Amen.
This luncheon could not be a success without the hard work of our fundraising committee. At this time, I would like to recognize all the members of the 2021 Mountain District fundraising team. Thank you all for helping to keep Scouting strong in the Mountain District. It's great that each of you could take time out of your day to join us. You all are the leaders of our communities, and this organization couldn't thrive without your continued support. Scouting is much more than an organization that takes kids camping. It is a program that helps teach young people how to live productive, healthy lives. It gives them the tools to be successful professionals, spouses, parents, and members of the community. All you need to do is read the newspaper or watch TV to see how desperately the values of Scouting are needed today. When you see a flag waving with people standing in quiet reverence, you are observing the very thing that Scouting has been teaching for over 111 years. Citizenship, duty to God and country, and physical health and fitness have all been staples of this program since its inception. Scouting continues to flourish here in our community. It continues to be successful because of its dedicated volunteers and the continued support of generous community leaders like you. Your support here today will enable over 1,000 Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, venturers, and explorers in the Mountain District to continue receiving a value-driven program. Another important part of Scouting success in the Mountain District is the Boy Scouts' commitment to community service. Last year, our Scouts completed over 15,000 hours of service in our district. Those hours have a value of approximately $232,500 of work done in our communities. It's also important to note that to get credit for community service hours, the service cannot benefit Scouting. The service must benefit another organization. Scouts participating in these service projects learn the valuable lesson of giving back to the community they live in. They learn that service to others is important. Scouts get off the couch, put down their phones, and work together as a team to make our communities better. I hope you're proud of the young people that Scouting is helping to mold. Young people that will one day be leaders in our communities, leaders with character and values developed through their Scouting experience.
Your support today will help in the care and upkeep of 3 beautiful outdoor council camps, including Camp O'Rear, located here in Jasper, training adult volunteers, organization of more Scout BSA troops, Cub Scout packs, venture crews, and explorer posts. Finally, your support will enable us to give disadvantaged youth the opportunity to join the movement. Our local council annually spends $150 per child to provide the Scouting program to each registered youth. If you haven't already had an opportunity to make a 2021 gift, please take a moment to fill out your pledge card that's located on the inside of the brochure on your table and sign it, or go to the donation tab online. Keep in mind that you don't have to give today. 100% of your gift will go to support our youth right here in the Mountain District. You can be proud to know that the funds raised today will go a long way to keep the Scout campfire burning brightly. I would like to thank each of you for making a difference today. I hope everyone had a chance to complete their pledge card and handed it to one of our Boy Scout representatives, or use the giving option on the virtual site. Thank you again for your generous support. At this time, it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Miller Forrestall, from the 2020 University of Alabama Football National Championship team.
Hey everybody, my name is Miller Forrestall. I am a now recent graduate of the University of Alabama, former tight end for the past 4 or 5 years. I was given the opportunity to come tell you guys a little bit about myself, a little bit about how the God of the universe has worked in my life, and it's something when I get the opportunity to, I love to tell people about. So I grew up in Cartersville, Georgia, about 45 minutes northwest of Atlanta, and I'm the oldest of 4. My dad owns his own business, and so I got to grow up in and around just working, playing football, and I was blessed in the way I was raised. I had 2 loving parents who treated me really, really well. And I grew up through high school, played football, loved football. Had the opportunity to come play at the University of Alabama, which is somewhere I never thought I'd be. And a little bit more about myself. I kind of always knew, I guess there was a God of the universe, is how I like to say it, but I didn't know that God of the universe, which I'm not necessarily proud of. I think God works in 3 ways, and I think that's pretty clear through the Bible. God speaks in 3 ways. He speaks through his word, he speaks through people, and he speaks through his spirit. And I've seen all 3 of those. At my time being at the University of Alabama, I've gotten really connected in FCA. It's called the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And it's one of those community, where God has spoken through people to me. I got to the University of Alabama and was running away from these people because I had this guy named Gary Kramer, and he runs FCA at the University of Alabama. He's actually doing my wedding. And he chased me down. He calls the Holy Spirit the hound dog of heaven because it's constantly chasing after you, nipping after your feet. And it was one of these things that anytime I was around this guy, I didn't want to be because I knew my life didn't look quite right. And he was a constant reminder of this. And so, man, I was constantly running away from this guy and all the people that were around him. But thank God that he and the people that were put in my life didn't stop chasing me around. And I was surrounded by 3 or 4 awesome guys who constantly pursued to love me and kind of to lead me. And I've never heard the audible voice of God, but this is what I'm about to tell you is the closest I've ever come to it. I had this Gary Kramer guy kept begging me and begging me and begging me, hey man, we want you to come on this mission trip to Costa Rica with us. And at this time, it hadn't clicked yet for me. I hadn't got what I like to call my slap in the back of the head by the God of the universe, where he kind of woke me up. But this group of guys I was telling you about, they were constantly pestering me, hey, come do this with us, get dinner with us, let's read this. And I got a call one night from Gary Kramer, the FCA guy. He said, hey, I want you to know if you're coming to FCA. I want you to know if you'll come on this trip with us to Costa Rica. And I was like, you know what, I just tore my ACL. I don't know if it's a good idea. I'm probably not going. And I called my dad. I said, hey, I'm not going to go on this trip. I'm just going to stay and heal up. He's like, it's probably a good idea. I got a call from one of the guys in the group shortly after. He goes, you come to the thing tonight? I said, oh, the thing. I'll be there. I'll be at the thing. Not knowing, I showed up that night. A woman got up on stage and goes, this is Perspectives. This is a 15-week course on missions in the Bible. And little did I know, I looked at my buddy and said, yeah, I'm going on that trip. And a couple months later, I met my wife on that trip, the girl I'm going to marry. And that's how I think God has spoken through people. God has spoken through spirit and the way that he slapped me in the back of my head. To those of you who know what that feels like, to have the God of the universe reveal himself to you, and you say, man, my life does not revolve around me. I am not sitting on the throne of my life anymore. It is a good feeling, and I invite you to, because the God of the universe is sovereign. No matter how you feel that the world is crazy and stressful and no one knows what's going to happen with COVID. You don't know if you're going to work tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to have a virus tomorrow. You don't know if a family member is going to be alive tomorrow. A couple things remain the same. That the God of the universe is the God of the universe today, tomorrow, and forever. That Jesus Christ lived on this earth, lived a perfect life, died a sinless death, and rose for our salvation so that we can spend eternity with him and have confidence in that, because that's not going to change no matter everything else will. So I hope that you guys, man, that God's going to speak through the people around you. He speaks through his word that is alive, and he speaks through spirit. So I hope that's a bit of encouragement for y'all. There we go. Football story? Oh, I got a lot of football stories. Yeah, so my freshman year, I enrolled early as a freshman. Actually, I got to start as a true freshman in Dallas. Played 16 games, had no intention of doing so. And my world kind of revolved around football. Not that I was a bad guy. I never thought like, man, I was a bad guy, but that's not what it's about. It's not about being a good person or a bad person. I loved football, and I lived and breathed football. And I played my entire freshman year and had a blast doing it. And I go into my sophomore year, and I'm going to be the guy. And little did I know, I had the worst spring football I've ever had in my life. I did not know why. It was like my world was turned upside down. I couldn't get priorities straight. I couldn't run a route. I couldn't block anybody, and I spiraled. I spiraled all summer, and I spiraled into the fall. I ended up losing the starting job for the first game. And then 2 games in, I start playing really, really well again and practicing well again. And we go play Colorado State, and I catch a play-action ball. I'm running down the sideline. I get hit real fun out of here, out of my knee. I try and stand up, and it's like someone kept pulling a blanket out from underneath my leg. We get over the sideline, and they pull me over, and Jeff Allen grabs my knee, looks, and just shakes his head. And I was like, oh, that hurt. I tore my ACL. That game will be done for the rest of the year and into the next year. And that next year and a half was an absolute battle. And I think that was a lot of the way that God taught me that, man, your world does revolve so much more than football. And you're not defined by just football. It was a small tool in part that he used to not only humble me, but kind of show me that you have no idea. You think your world revolves around football. You have no idea that people are so much more important in your life and your family's life. And it's so much bigger than your job or what you're doing right now. Not just what you're doing, but how you do it, how you go your day-to-day life. That was what kind of changed me a lot after that. Is, man, I'm going to come to practice today, and how can I affect the people around me? How can I love and encourage the people around me if I'm going to go out there and limp my way through practice and can't do the things I used to do and don't always enjoy it. Not out there limping around, but how can I influence the people around me in a positive way and love on people and show them that, man, Jesus loves them as well. By the way, I tried to live my life. So, yeah, it was like, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It was something I realized when at church I had that great group of guys kind of lead me along, and I like to say the God of the universe smacked me in the back of the head. And I sat back and realized, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And I went to this Gary Kramer and said, Kramer, why am I here? Why don't I just leave and go to some foreign country and try and tell people about the God of the universe? Like, why isn't that what I do every day? And he goes, well, it's not just that you go, it's as you go. And that's kind of something that's stuck in my head is as you go, no matter what you do, honor the God of the universe with it. So how you go, whether that be the people around you. I have no idea what I'm going to do 10 years from now. But, man, I hope I am a steward of God. And I don't do it well. I'll be the first one to tell you. And I fail every day. And people are always like, man, those hypocritical Christians. And in a lot of ways, yes, because I constantly fail, and I will constantly do so. That's because we are all sinners. Where you find an imperfect church, it's the church I want to be at because, man, we're all imperfect. But I just want to chase the God of the universe and try and help others do that. So I don't know where I'll be in 10 years from now. I just hope I love others well. So if you had asked me 5 years ago, after my freshman year, I would have said, man, I'll be out of here in 3 years, go play in the league, with no kind of realization of what life revolves around. And now as I look forward to my fiance and we're going to say, hey, we're going to get married in a year, how do you plan a wedding with A, COVID, B, a football future, hopefully, where you have no idea who's going to draft you, if you sign as an undrafted free agent, where you're going to live. How do you plan a wedding not knowing where you're going to be? And that's something we've had to sit there and really rattle around. And it helps when you realize that you never controlled any of it anyway. So why would you think you could control this? We get so like enamored with this idea of like, oh, I love planning for the future. Like I love saying, all right, Monday I'm going to do this. Tuesday I'm going to do this. Wednesday I'm going to do this. And sometimes that goes awry and I like freak out. But I don't know why. It's not like I controlled it anyway. I didn't control going into my junior year. I'm going to have a breakout year. This is going to be great. I break my foot a month before camp starts. Play the Duke game without taking any good-on-good reps. Play like poo the first 5 games. Come back 6, 7, 8, play well, break my throat versus Arkansas. And I'm sitting in DCH in the ICU that night. And they're like, yeah, you're having surgery on Monday. And I was like, what in the world? This is not what I planned. Well, it doesn't matter what you had planned because you're not the God of the universe. So just as you go, like, man, no matter if it's an ACL or a foot or you lose a job or a loved one that you don't understand what's happening, it's as you go. Be a witness to other people as you do that. I think that's honestly one of the hardest parts is there's so much uncertainty in COVID and not knowing where I'm going to be in the next 6 months. Man, if you can love others through it and be calm and centered, knowing that you weren't in control of it anyway, then it's going to turn out. He's going to take care of the birds of the field and the flowers of the field, and he'll take care of me.
Miller, thank you for participating in today's event as we prepare to keep the campfire burning. At this time, the Black Warrior Council has the esteemed honor of awarding an achievement to a very deserving person.
Ladies and gentlemen, this luncheon is named in honor of Larry Drummond. He was the most loyal and generous benefactor, and we felt the best way to truly honor Mr. Drummond was to create a scouting award in his name. This award, the EA Larry Drummond Lifetime Scouting Achievement Award, is being presented to a person who represents what Mr. Drummond meant to this community and to the Boy Scouts. Based on the example that Mr. Drummond set, the recipient will be chosen based on their years of unselfish giving to the Boy Scouts and by a life lived according to the 12 points of the Scout Law: trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Patrick and Abby Drummond to present the 9th Annual Scouting Achievement Award to Pete Smith and his family. Pete Smith was born May 29, 1938 in California, where he grew up, and became a scout, earning his Eagle as a member of Troop 8 in Petaluma. His family moved to Florence, Alabama in 1953 so his father could manage a fishing line packaging and distribution business. Pete graduated from Coffee High School in 1956, where he participated in the school band and his own band, Pete Smith and the Flames. Pete played bass and drums. Pete attended Florence State Teachers College before deciding entrepreneurship was the way for him to go. He married his wife, Jeanette Peary, in 1960. Pete and Jeanette moved to Jasper in 1966, where he and his father continued their own business. I'm going to read that again. Pete and Jeanette moved to Jasper in 1966, where he and his father continued their own business, National Fish Line Company in Dora, Alabama, where they warehoused, spooled, and distributed fishing line for Stren, and were also involved in government sewing contracts. Including in some of those sewing contracts was an exercise belt the astronauts of the Apollo flight missions wore. Pete purchased the business from his father, and for several years was the sole spooler, warehouser, and distributor of Stren fishing line worldwide. His business received awards from E.I. DuPont from the Plant's Efficiency and Good Work and the Wallace Award of the East Walker Chamber of Commerce. Pete was a member of the First United Methodist Church of Jasper, where he served on the Board of Trustees. Pete also served as director of Compass Bank. Pete has 2 sons, Hugh and Lee Smith. Both earned their Eagle, and he has 3 grandchildren, Sawyer, Ethan, and Briley Smith. Ethan Smith is also an Eagle Scout. Pete served as Assistant Scoutmaster and Scoutmaster of Troop 117. He took the troop on several military hikes, council camporees, summer camps, and other fun trips such as skiing in North Carolina. Pete was the official driver of the troop's refurbished bus. He encouraged his scouts to advance in the ranks and earning merit badges. He set up counselors for every merit badge, and while he was Scoutmaster 18, scouts earned the rank of Eagle. While he was Scoutmaster, the troop earned the Phil Shapiro Award and won top honors at Camp Horn. The troop had their own scout house and recycled newspapers and aluminum cans to raise money and to help the environment. Pete also served as committee chairman for Troop 117 and numerous board of reviews for scouts. Pete also served as committee chairman for Troop 117 and numerous board of reviews for scouts. I'm going to do that one more time. Pete also served as committee chairman for Troop 117 and numerous board of reviews for scouts. In 2005, Pete retired from the fishing line business but continued manufacturing with GoCot LLC, which makes camping cots. Many of these cots are used by scouts across the country, especially at National Jamboree time. Pete, his wife Jeanette, and son Hugh set up the Samuel Lee Smith Advised Fund in 2006, the first donor-advised fund created at the Walker Area Community Foundation in memory of his son Lee. The purpose of the fund is to help children and youth in Walker County to live their lives to the fullest, encouraging athletics, scouting, religious, good health, and the arts, especially for those who need financial assistance. The Samuel Lee Smith Advised Fund has been a regular donor to Black Warrior Council for camping fees for scouts who otherwise would not be able to attend summer camp. Pete also personally supported numerous other charities in Jasper. Pete and Steve Hager bought the new footbridge at Camp O'Rear that crosses over the cave that leads to the Rock House.
Miss Jeanette, it is an absolute pleasure on behalf of my family to award the E.A. Drummond Lifetime Achievement Award. It says to Pete Smith, but it's to your family. It's to you, it's to Hugh, it's to Lee. Known y'all all my life. Y'all been a big part of my family. Remember y'all growing up and going to football games in Pete's old brown van with a bunch of fishing line in the back of it, and that's where we sat. He was always a giving person, always a kind person. And he exemplifies the traits that make a difference in people's lives, and so do you. Thank you very much.
And on behalf of my family, I just want you to know that Pete would have been so proud to receive this. Scouting was an important part of his life, and he was so proud that he had 4 Eagles in his family.
Absolutely. I guarantee you was. Thank you so much.
you.
We love y'all.
Okay.
What an honor it is for all of us to be participating today, not only for the awarding of this 9th annual award, but also for the opportunity to show our support for the Boy Scouts. Thanks to everyone for attending this year's Larry Drummond Lifetime Achievement Award Luncheon.